Please be aware this episode contains adult themes and is not suitable for younger listeners. Good evening, travellers, and welcome to another edition of the Pro Wrestling Journey. Today's journey will see us across Japan, Ireland, Scotland, all sorts of places, and we'll take a glimpse into undoubtedly one of the biggest names in British wrestling. She's one half of the most dominant tag team in the British scene today in the SheWolves.
The most dominant.
What?
The most dominant.
I did that as well. So just cut that bit. Do something with it. I don't even care.
For the love of God, John, can you just stop right ahead and I'll take it from here, son? I apologise for that, travellers. Let's hit it for the top, guys. Wee bit of music, please. That's the one. Perfect. Aye, travellers. Sean here, back again to bring you the best talent in professional wrestling. And today's show, we are doing just that because our next guest is part of the most dominant tag team in all of professional wrestling. I am, of course, talking about the SheWolves. This woman is a former three-time ICW Women's Champion, and she is looking to bring in her fourth reign real soon. She is the current Pro Wrestling Eve International Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, we here at the Pro Wrestling Journey proudly present to you the Mother of Chaos, the Queen of Knees, Kasey Owens. Kasey, thank you very much for coming on today.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Pleasure.
We're finally here, even though I create chaos wherever I go.
We're getting a taste of this. We are getting a taste of it.
I'll just fire in with the first wrestling question, shall I?
Fire it. Woo! Camera's going to fall. See, chaos.
There we go, we're firing a bit too much.
Yeah.
When you think of professional wrestling, who is the first person that comes to mind?
Taker.
Oh, lovely.
We can be friends.
If you were in charge putting together a British Wrestling Hall of Fame, who would be your first three inductees?
Ooh. Johnny Saint, Robbie Brookside, and William Regal.
Oh, can you get much better than that?
Uh,
How did you discover pro wrestling and what were you watching at that time?
I was watching with my brother and my dad, and my brother was a huge British Bulldog fan. So anytime he was on, I was like, come in, let's watch. So it's basically, that was my big start to it.
Did your brother, did he ever consider getting into the business?
Whenever I first started backyarding, he came to one of our training sessions and he thought it would be great, but he had suffered 4 slip discs in his back when he was younger.
Right.
So that makes it a little bit difficult to do what we do when you're landing on your back all the time. So he was like, you go live the dream and I'll be rooting for you.
Brilliant. You certainly did.
I was going to say, you've done him well.
Yep. Next up, America.
That's what's next, is it?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Have you done anything in the States yet, Kasey?
Just a few customs when I was out in 2017, whenever we all took a big GPWA trip for WrestleMania and for BT Gunn's birthday for WrestleMania 33.
That was...
Yeah.
Drew
that was
was that
that was he come back on NXT. He was in the crowd at NXT. We were there, and then that was the return of the Hardy Boys. Yay! And then the unofficial retirement of Taker. That was such an emotional day. So emotional.
That was, and we thought that was going to be it as well.
Yeah, like literally standing, and it was Molly, myself, BT, Scott Reed, and Lionheart. And we all just literally, whenever Taker went to get back in the ring, when he did that fake leave and then back in to take the hat and all off, like we all just stood and looked at Scott Reed. So it was like, and Scott was just like,
in tears.
That's like his dad. His dad, wrestling Taker.
Oh, Taker is the man, and I'm sure Taker was Molly's favourite gimmick of all time? Would that be safe to say is yours as well?
Yeah, well, like Taker obviously is always going to be like top there, but Eddie Guerrero, like cheat steal, have a bit of fun, like not just for that gimmick, but for the technical ability he had. Like I'll always go to it, like my top top four, I would say Taker, Eddie, Dean Malenko, and Benoit.
Right.
Like they're my like Mount Rushmore.
I get you. So I was going to ask you as well about what drew you into wrestling. Was it the characters or was it the physicality? Judging by the wrestlers you've just said there, it's a large part of physicality.
Yeah, large part of physicality, but I like the suspense of belief whenever you're watching wrestling. Like whenever you're younger and you believe that this big 7-foot guy can throw 20 people across a ring in the middle of a rumble because he's just a big scary giant. Or we won't talk about some of the stuff from Attitude Era, but like all that sort of crazy stuff that just allows you to just leave reality for a while and just enjoy it. Like that's what I loved about it. Like whenever I got into it, I was really, really young, but it's to that point that even though it's not quite as big on like those gimmicky storylines now, besides like Bray Wyatt, I think it still needs more of what brought us into it for the new generation, because we had the PG-13 and all the rest of it, but we all want to just disappear for a minute and just enjoy it. It's like watching a movie. You just want to let go of reality and just enjoy it for that wee minute, and that's what I love about it.
You mentioned keeping us entertained, so I'll get this bit out of the road right quick, because we, from the bottom of my heart and the bottom of his, I'm sure he'll say his piece, we would like to say thank you to everybody, be it you, Gunn, the whole wrestling world, because when the world stopped, wrestling kept going. So I'm a MotoGP fan, I am a Formula One fan. I don't really care that football stopped, but that all stopped and there was none, so there was nothing to do. And within the matter of a week or two, wrestling had fired up again and there was no fans, but you guys just still went out there and you did your thing and you allowed us to escape reality for a wee while. So from the bottom of my heart, certainly, thank you very much.
Oh, it's much appreciated. It's what we do. It's what, like, as we always say, the show must go on, and come hell or high water, we'll do the best that we can. And even if it's just doing like podcasts like this to keep you all informed and that sort of thing, or even just doing those no fans closed door shows, we're going to go out there and do it, because at the end of the day, it's you that we do it for. That's
got to be tricky for somebody like you, because you take some beatings and you something chronic.
I'm a glutton for punishment, but at the end of the day, it's what I do. And
but
like,
when that crowd's not there for you to feed off, it must be hellish.
It is, but once you get past that, it's not like you're. I don't like to say that you're going through the motions, but
I know
in your head, like at the other side of that camera, there's thousands, hundreds, whatever, how many people are watching. You're still doing it for them, so don't treat it as just a payday. Like, oh, let's go in and do this. You're still representing your brand. You're still building yourself up, and you're still working on being the best version of you for whenever all you guys come back. So that's the point that we're trying to make, because if we right there and phoned it in, you all would know it. So there's no point in that.
Absolutely.
You know what quality is. And that's what we try to do every time we step through those ropes.
What brought Kasey Owens to my attention? Sean's been an ICW fan a lot longer than me. Give the short version. Lifelong wrestling fan. Fell away from it sort of for a while. Came back to it, and you mentioned Lionheart, and we'll touch on him. I came back to it when I realised that Sean was actually, you know what, we'll just do it now. The whole podcast came to be because of Lionheart, because I hadn't realised Sean was training at GPWA. And his mother phoned me, just to give the reason we did this on Zoom, by the way. He lives in Stranraer and I live in Lossiemouth up in the Highlands. So we use Zoom all the time. So his mum phoned me and said, Sean's not doing very well. His wrestling coach died, and he's took it quite badly. And I'm like, Sean's got a wrestling coach? Okay.
It's like, when did this happen?
I couldn't know about it. So I phoned him and I said, yeah, Big, are you doing all right, Ken? And we started talking about wrestling. And in all honesty, I wasn't familiar with the Scottish scene at that time. And I'm still no the Bible on it. I'll just throw that out there. But,
still learning on it.
we started chatting away, and he was bringing me up to date, and he gets right animated about it, and I get right animated about it, and I can see you do as well.
Mhm.
And next thing you can, 3 hours had passed, and well, I do
Exactly.
actually have a job today, so I'm like, right, mate, I've turned up at the job. I'll phone you back when I get out, and this is what we do. I spend a lot of time on the road, so we spend a lot of time on the phone.
Mhm.
And that is how this came to be. Was indirectly via Lionheart, and if you've got any memories of Lionheart, I would love to hear them.
Oh, like he was one of a kind, and you're gonna hear that from a lot of people. Like he ate, slept, and breathed this industry. Something shocking. Like everything he was doing was to better himself and better his trainees and just do the best that he could. And he did a lot in the career that he had. I mean, it was like he'd won that Phoenix Championship the week before that he unfortunately passed away. But like he couldn't do enough for you. He was just amazing.
It was.
Great.
It was.
Yeah.
I had the privilege of training with him for the first 8 weeks, because there was 3 8-week courses at GPWA for the induction, and he definitely left his mark on me in them 8 weeks. And he didn't. One thing that kind of stuck with me was he would say, "You're not allowed to get frustrated with yourself. That's my job. I'm allowed to be frustrated with you." And he would do, like, I would do something that I think would take him by surprise, like a lucha roll. Being a bit of a bigger guy, I don't think he was expecting me to be able to do it as well as what I did. And he gave me just this big old yes. And I was like, you never get that kind of reaction from him. So it meant a hell of a lot. It meant a lot when he did. I knew I'd done something.
That was a very human side of Adrian there. That was like whenever, and even just little successes, it meant a lot, because it meant that he was doing his best for you, and you were feeding off that. Yeah. Like he loved it. He fed off the crowd so well. He was one of the best characters in ICW. Like he caught a promo like no one's business. He was so good at that. Like, he was the most like believable character that you can think of. Yeah. Like you believe that whenever Lionheart like left that curtain, that was the same guy in backstage as he was out there, because he ain't that believable.
He brought that to training. When he was the first session I did, it was Lionheart and Jack Jester. And he walked in with the swagger that he would walk out of the curtain with.
Oh, aye.
And
that wee swagger, the shoulders going. Yeah.
He's the man, and he knows it. Badass motherfucker, as he would say.
But he is. He was.
Oh, definitely. He was like.
That was him.
Still a badass motherfucker somewhere, I'm sure.
Exactly, still is. Because he's in here.
And he was a big still game fan. I've got a
big still game fan. Did you?
I don't know if you can see that, but that's 2 pints.
Oh, I can see it now. I was wondering what the hell he was doing then, to be honest.
No, it's like we were even on that holiday to Florida. He did the whole thing. It's like, I tell you, when we were on the plane, I tell you, I will not be buying headphones. But then we ribbed him for the rest of the holiday. Like everywhere we went, we even had the air stewardesses wishing Adrian the Rock McCallum a happy 40th birthday. So everywhere we went, that's what it was. You got so many birthday cakes. Every restaurant that we went to, no matter where we went, it was like Adrian the Rock McCallum, his birthday. The only day it didn't happen was BT Gun's birthday, and we made sure that didn't happen. He didn't want the oddity going off on one on that day.
I was going to say BT wouldn't be happy with that one.
No, plus it was the day of WrestleMania, so that was like his biggest birthday ever. So.
Oh. That was 33.
33, yeah.
Oh,
and it was great, because it was a great one to go to, because 33 is BT Gun's number, his favorite number, and it was a birthday, so it was like it had to happen.
Oh, definitely.
Had to happen.
See, when you were speaking about the Hardy Boys returning at WrestleMania.
Oh God, it's not gonna go on.
Would it be a little bit better if Lita had been with them?
I would have died. I would have literally dropped dead there and then. Like, Molly has photos of me, tears streaming my face, because as soon as the New Day came out and Kofi was taking off that hat, I was like, you put that hat back on. You put that hat back on. Because we all saw our reach last night. We know what happens. We know what's going to happen. And then the music hit and it just burst. I was gone. I was like, oh my God. And then Jeff, like, we were right beside the entranceway, like the runway, where Taker came up. So we were right at that bit.
All right.
So as Jeff came down and he turned, he was right there, and I was like, ah! So only one of them met in person. Like, I need to meet you. Because I met Matt, I've met Lita, and I was like, I need to meet Jeff, and I need BT Gunn to wrestle Jeff because he's wrestled Matt.
As I.
He needs to wrestle Jeff. But we'll see if that happens.
I'm
I was screaming across the barrier here, mate. Do you know who I'm?
I was like, come here. I am the Scottish version of you. Get down here.
Dealing with Kasey Owens here, Jeff. Come on. Get some respect.
Come on, Jeff Hardy. Like, I know you watch this, so please come over to Scotland, come on to ICW and take on BT Gunn.
By the way, I have approached BT Gunn to get on here, so if you can put a word in his ear, I would be grateful.
I do it for every single podcast, but you know what he's like? He just doesn't talk.
Oh, he just blanks me.
He's a very quiet man. He's very few words.
I've explained that to John here. I was like, I don't think I've heard BT on any podcast.
Nope.
It'd be a
and
rare
that's the
find.
thing. That's just him. Like, you can
Is he
try.
doing
Like,
a style, do we think?
well, he's the oddity, so he needs to keep something
I suppose.
aside, doesn't he? He's the oddity.
We'll get
You're not
this.
really
Right, BT, you've had your minute. This is Kasey's podcast, so move on.
Yeah.
I was wondering, Kasey, could you tell us about your first suplex and
My
see
first
if you can
suplex?
remember, see if you can remember what I'm alluding to.
As in backyard suplexes.
The very first 7-year-old
suplex. It was my brother. As you've probably seen all these memes, like, you're that type of person who's never been choke slammed on the sofa by your older brother just because he felt like it. That was my life growing up. So it was like wrestling out the back garden and things like that. But my first proper suplex and a first proper match, like, this is after 3-4 years of backyard and training, and then meeting Machine and training with him at Mega and having my matches at Wrestling IE and LW and stuff like that. It was just remembering to breathe.
Right.
It's like, whenever you land, don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath.
Gonna knock the wind
Hurts
out.
like hell. Hurts like a motherfucker. You feel like your entire chest cavity is going to explode. So just always breathe out.
I'm 42, mate. I'm not taking any bumps anytime soon.
But you say that.
Yeah, do you know what? I'd love to. But, I'd just get ragdolled. I'd jump in the ring, you'd kill me, and that'd be the end. I'd be a happy man, though. I would die.
That's why I feel when I get in the ring with Wolfgang when we're training at Girders.
Well, we're going to get to girders as well, because we put girders over at every opportunity.
Yes, please do, because it's great.
The big man trains at girders.
It's what kept me seeing during lockdown. What kept me seeing.
Yeah, he trains at girders. I just pay the bill.
I did have it in my notes, so I'll just ask about it just now. How beneficial has Iron Girders Gym been to yourself and a lot of other wrestlers and up-and-coming wrestlers?
It's unreal what you can get from it, because it's a wrestling gym. So there's not really many of them about, unless you're talking about the UK Performance Centre or the US Performance Centre. There's not really many now. I see that Jay Apter and a few of the guys at TNT, they've recently opened Claw, which is their training school, which has the same sort of setup as Iron Girders. They've got their ring, and then they've got their fitness equipment as well. But it's amazing, because you just book on in for your hour slot, either in ring or in the gym, or you can do an hour in ring and an hour in gym. Like, you can do it all in one go, and it's been fundamental. If it wasn't for Wolfie and Kaylee putting the money together to get the ring in there, like, I think a lot more of us would be a lot more injured with regards to tapings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And just being on top of, like, your in-ring fitness is just second to none.
Definitely.
So in other words, join TPWA or FPWA and get yourself the girders. So then you can get something like me.
Definitely, that is the plan. So I got to the third assessment on the induction, and just had I had a bad night. It didn't go well for me. But I got to I was it was Joe Hendry's podcast that got me thinking about GPWA to begin with. His message was, if you ever wanted to be a wrestler, if you ever wanted to try it, then you owe it to yourself to give it a go, because you didn't want to get your deathbed and think, what if? So I went to GPWA and I got to the third assessment, which tells me that it's possible. I can do it. I didn't get to the first 8 weeks and say, oh no, I can't do this. I got to the 24th week and I just had a bad day. So I'm 100% going to be getting myself back through Iron Girders Gym and GPWA. And it's thanks to them like that I'm going to get there.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you did the main thing. You took that first step. And like, we all have bad days. Like, I'll have bad days when I'm in the ring with the guys, because we all regularly train together. Like me, BT, Stevie, Kaylee, Wolfie, and Molly. We'll all regularly train together, and one of us will have a bad day at some point.
Yeah.
And it's just, and that's people who've been wrestling over 10 years now. Like, it happens. Like, everybody has bad days, but you just come back from it. You either continue on, or you take yourself out, have a wee break, and then go back to it. That's all you need to do. Just at the end of the day, you know you've done it.
Yeah, that's it. It just kind of definitely. It all kind of happened at the worst time, because the whole pandemic's just kind of messed things up. But like I said, through lockdown, Iron Girders Gym, they've been second to none. When they've been able to open up, I've done 2 one-to-one sessions with Wolfie, and both times he had me running to the toilet being sick. So I'm working. I was putting the work in.
But that's the thing though, like if you think about it, there's going to be a lot of people that haven't been as blessed as we have been for being able to get to the gym through a lockdown and that sort of thing. So like, everybody's going to be a little bit ring rusty, a little bit about your ring shape, and like lockdown, like this third lockdown, like mentally, like took it out of me. Like the first one, I was like, I'm fine, this is cool, it's fine, bit of time off work, yay. And then the second one, it was like, all right, here we go. And then that third one was like, right, okay, are we done with this yet? And it was just like, right, fine. And then we had the whole issue with Nico and things like that. It was just, but if I didn't have that like suspense of reality whenever I get to go to Girders and just disappear for a couple of hours, that would have been a very different outcome. But I was very, very blessed to have that. And just if you can, like, on one of my t-shirts, like I sold a few years ago, it says, remember, this life is not a practice. And that's something that my dad told me whenever I was sitting in the dojo in Japan in 2013 when I was having a hard day. And he's sitting in a campsite in Iraq, and he was like, look, this life's not a practice. Like, just go out and do it, and you can say you've done it. Like, never say no to anything. Obviously say no if it's to kill someone and do shit like that, but like, if you're given an opportunity, why not?
We do not condone murder here.
Exactly, we do not condone that, thank you very much.
Nobody's getting out alive though.
Go out and do it. Like, you only have one life, and do you want to spend it sitting in an office all day? Like, no. Like, go have fun, live it.
That's it. That's something I'm gonna remember. That's resonated with me as well. Life is not a practice. So, like,
I picked my life up and I left my family back in Ireland to come here to pursue a dream, to start a life here, to then hopefully get to another place. So just keep going.
That's it.
You're built from Belfast. Are you actually from Belfast?
No, I'm from Bangor, but no one knows where Bangor is.
I know roughly where Bangor is. I used to, when we were young, Sean's granny, my mum, used to go in Irishman, and we used to holiday in Garva and sort of hitch the 10 miles up to Coleraine. I was about 15, 16, just getting into the bars over there and whatnot. And I love Northern Ireland, man. It was brilliant. I go back to the Northwest every year when I can. Obviously, it's been cancelled the last 3.
Yeah.
And that's probably the only time we ever get face to face, actually, because it's the only time I'm ever in Stranraer. Just to get the boat across the island, which is the only reason.
I haven't been to Stranraer in a while. Like I haven't been home in like.
You have in fact wrestled on the main streets of Stranraer, though, haven't you?
I have indeed. I think it was Target.
Yeah, at the Ryan Centre on Target. I think you were facing Viper.
I'm pretty sure it was, because me and Viper had a few wee matches there. Because I was trying to think, was it Jail of Dark? Was it Viper? Was it who was it?
Aye, and you beat her that night in Stranraer.
I don't know.
You got the win.
I've taken one too many knocks to the head here, so I'm just like, cool. That's
You
right.
got to see it, Sean, eh?
You got you back in Dumfries.
But you've not come to Glasgow to see me.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
I seen you at Pro Wrestling Elite, the 8th anniversary show.
Yeah, but that's not Glasgow.
No, that was there. I've only been to a couple of wrestling shows live. It needs to be something that I need to do a bit more. It's definitely something that I've only been to one ICW show, and I've only been to one WWE show, and then I've been to wrestling. I've only been to 3 wrestling shows.
So you keep the ICW show. What show was that?
That was the Fear and Loathing show at the Hydro when Lionheart won the title.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years. Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah. So.
See, when I was just mentioning the Pro Wrestling Elite show.
Hang on a minute here. This woman put her body on the line in your home.
A cage match at the Hydro.
No, I'm talking about Stranraer at the Ryan Centre. And you couldn't drag yourself 3 streets down to watch her.
I was living in Elgin at that time, Joe. That was 2014. That was 2014.
I don't know. I think
wow, that was a baby, Kasey. Wow. But you've seen Molly, right?
Yeah.
So you'll see my tag partner. So you won't come see me.
Oh no, I'll come see you any day of the week. Like, just if that's going to be, I will 100%.
Too late.
So,
No.
I know where you're trained.
I'll 100%. I'll make that a point to come and see you.
Sean, put the shovel down.
Hopefully it'll be when you win the ICW Women's Championship for the 4th time.
What a save!
Oh yes, I'll be the trailblazer. Forget your Keely Rays or Vipers. Like I'll be your first 4-time women's champion.
That's going to be our first. That's history in the making.
We'll take that.
History in the making.
Absolutely.
I have never been to an ICW show, by the way.
Oh, no.
Well, can we just stop this podcast now? Like,
I fully intend to be at the next one, but getting tickets is proving tough, so we'll give it a go.
yeah,
Any
with everything
wrestling
getting
children?
moved back and stuff, it is hard at the minute. But when the first ones are back, I fully expect both of these to be here.
Oh, definitely, we will be.
We're giving it a go. See, on the subject of ICW, I was scrambling about trying to find Kasey Owens matches to watch, and failing miserably because my telly broke. And one of the ones I did get to see was you versus Kaylee Ray.
In Newcastle.
It was NXT UK.
Oh, right, yeah.
I'm not 100% certain of the venue.
Brayhead.
Sorry?
Brayhead.
All right. Well, you guys come out and you do your thing. You come to the ring at that time, I think, was it 2018, a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
You're coming down to the ring and you're quite bouncy, quite happy-go-lucky. Is that generally you, or?
Well, it depends what they're looking for from me. Like in ICW, you'll see me come out, scowl on my face, just like if I'm laughing, it's more just like all right, here we go. Whereas when I'm bouncing down, I'm like because like I'm walking out for NXT UK, like I'm walking out for WWE. That buzz that I've got, knowing that you've got Shawn Michaels sitting in the back there watching your match, like you're like, holy shit, I need to be good here. Don't fuck it up. But it's just the buzz that I got off the crowd. Molly was in the crowd. His twin sister Leah was in the crowd. Like this is what we wanted, and it was just basically, it was a culmination of a lot of things, and it was taking what Kaylee and I had created in ICW and just taking it and putting it in WWE. And there was a moment in the ring
when they started chanting IC Dub, and you guys are just sort of, is it hard to stay composed? You're thinking about just cracking up.
Yeah, it was that way where it's like we got kind of told off for that though, like acknowledging that people were chanting ICW. Like trying to like we know why, but just try not to acknowledge that. On each other, but I'm just like, but this is my home crowd. This is our people.
Exactly.
I mean, she took the cheap shot in the end and whacked you with it. Like,
Well,
you guys are talking in the moment, and she whacked you right in the dial. But
yeah, but that's what happens. It's like when you're in with friends, stuff happens.
but what a cracking match! It just looked like two good mates in there having a cracking time.
Oh, it was like anytime I get in with Kaylee, it's a learning experience. Like, we've been wrestling pretty much the same length of time, but she has light years ahead of me because she has had so many opportunities. She'd done like all the camps over here and stuff like that, whereas in Ireland there wasn't really much for me at the time, and there wasn't really much intergender wrestling in Ireland at the time, or I wasn't really getting booked for that. So I felt like whenever I moved over here in 2014, that I still, like, Kaylee was always here and I was always here, so it was trying to get up to her level. But the bitch just keeps going. The bitch just keeps getting better and better and better, which is why like she's one of my close friends, and it's that, like, you're gonna think I'm saying it because she is, but hands down she's top 10. Like, she's like top 3 in the world if you think about it. Like,
we had
she
this
is
conversation
unreal.
today.
I'm biased, but I say she's the best in the world.
Like, she is the best. Like, promo-wise, facials, like emotion, and just general moveset. Like, she, like I spoke on another podcast earlier today, and it was like, she is the locker room leader for any women's locker room. She is that locker room leader that you can go to and have a chat with and go, look, I need help. Or, Kelly, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Is it okay? Like, she is that one that no one's scared to go to. And she's not scared to go to people like Sean, people like Matt Bloom and that sort of thing, and go, I don't think that's really going to work. How about this? Like, but she's just unreal. Like, she's just amazing.
She's Kaylee Ray.
It's Kaylee Ray. She's Kaylee fucking Ray.
She captivated me because I had never heard. I was baptized because of him. I was baptized into the ICW sort of thing, and I had never heard 18 plus wrestling. And here's this petite lass built like edge of a fiver, and one of the lines she used was, they called her the Disney princess, and she looked right at the camera.
No. Disney give a fuck princesses.
That's it. She looked right at the camera and she went, aye, Disney give a fuck princess, mate.
Yeah.
I spat my beer out. I was sitting in a guest house in Stornoway watching this, and I was like, what the f did she just say?
It's brilliant.
But she comes out so petite, and she's just got the swagger, she's got the moves, and she starts throwing Lionheart about the bit. And this is what I was watching last night.
Yeah. She's unreal. Like, her matches, like, even with Mikey Whiplash back in like 2014 in Studio 24 at Edinburgh, like, whenever it was her and Jester versus Carmel and Mikey, and she took that bump into the wall, like, she went up for Arana, and then he brought her back up and basically power bombed her out of the ring, and she hit the DJ booth.
That's what I was saying to you today, John.
That's not the end that I saw. No,
she's not, like, she's taking bumps through, like, who was it? BT, I think it was, power bombed her through 2 chairs and a table, out of the ring. like she's like, as you do. I've back body dropped her on the guardrails and on the garage floor. Like, it's just, she is the hardcore daredevil. Like, she knows that she's putting her body on the line, but she still goes off and does it. I mean, you saw them, like, the War Games match that she had, that that trash can shot from Rhea Ripley, and I can tell you right now, that's a Kaylee Ray spot. That was Kaylee Ray that came up with that bit.
Imagine. Fantastic. I seen her at the Hydro. She put Viper through the table with barbed wire, but they both went for, when she's doing that, she's putting her.
It was Viper that Michinoku drivered her through it, because she went to Canadian Destroyer through it, and then Viper turned it, so Kaylee took that bump.
That's right. I just I got mixed up because I remember she had her on the submission and she had the barbed wire wrap.
Yeah, she reversed it after that.
Was the Encyclopedia of Wrestling just corrected there? Was SP O'Hare just corrected there?
Well,
I don't claim to be anything. I don't claim to be anything like that, John.
But that's the thing though, there's things that I'll say and people go, no, Kasey, it was this way. I was like, was it? I could have sworn it was the other way.
That's
We're
it.
not going to do that. We just assume that you know.
Um,
Like on this, mate, we're just going, that's great, that is.
I haven't actually watched that match back. I just watched it live in the crowd, so
Yeah.
I'd love to watch it back. I think it might be on the network.
What did you think whenever Viper went out to get that trash can? Did you think, oh, here we go, it's going to be full of different weapons, or
We weren't expecting the thumbtacks.
thumbtacks?
We were not expecting that. We thought it was
But
going to
what
be the
a shot,
Kangaroos.
though. What a shot.
Oh yeah, that was
As soon as
unbelievable.
we're done with this, I'm going to watch that match because I've not seen it.
Oh, you have to watch it.
Yeah.
Again, those two taking it to another level.
It was hard to watch, like, because I was thinking to myself, like,
I don't mind watching it as long as it's not me.
but just seeing what they were going to, and I was thinking, who's going? You didn't know who was winning. It was
No.
matches.
And that's what's great about watching those two. Like, you just never know. And then seeing them do it on the big stage at NXT UK, even better, because it's like, this is the stage that you're meant to be doing it on. That you could,
Definitely.
like, everybody will say how amazing you guys are. Like, I've seen it like all the time down at like Pro Wrestling Eve and stuff like that. Whenever they actually tagged as the Disney Give a Fuck princesses, they used that as their tag name. And
that.
like they've had, like, if you have a look on Pro Wrestling Eve and stuff like that, they've, whose birthday was it? Kaylee's or was it Kim? Was it Viper's? Either whoever's birthday it was, they had a singles match against each other, and they had Hungry Hippos, they had Connect Four, they had like all these things that had passed the parcel in a wrestling match, but it made sense.
It made sense.
It was just, you wouldn't have expected anything less from either of them.
No.
It was great.
I wonder if you could tell us, please, Kasey, how did you come up with the ring name Kasey Owens?
The Owens comes from my great grandmother. She was Margaret Owens, or Darna as she was called, and she passed away when she was 102. And she was always that matriarch of the family. She was strong. She was just a powerhouse. So like, I wanted that a part of my life, and then I wanted like a cool, like the whole KO thing before Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Damn him. Damn you, Steve. KO was the whole thing. So I was like, Cat Von Owens, like, no, because I'm a huge Cat Von D fan. I was like, no, I don't want to be that obvious. And I was like, well, Kasey works. I don't particularly want to use Kelly because of everything that it links to, but with Kasey, it was like, my older sister's called Kasey. I love my older sister to bits. Like, she's a strong mother of two. And I was like, well, why not bring all the family in and use it that way? So that's Kasey Owens is born.
Yep.
That's a unique way to come up with your ring name.
Yeah. God help me if I ever get signed and I have to change it, because I don't know what I'd change it to.
I've not got anything in mind.
I should probably start thinking on that, because what if?
Oh,
What
It's coming, mate. It's coming. So get a name thought up, because I can tell you right now it's coming soon.
Do you know something I don't know?
Not at all.
I would
Not at all.
see. Just when we're talking about NXT UK a wee minute ago, how beneficial has NXT UK been to the British wrestling scene?
It's unfathomable, because it gives people that hope that there's that extra step to get to the States, to get to NXT, to get to the main roster, because for so long it was always that almost pipe dream. And if it wasn't for people like Drew, like Finn Balor and everybody else, like getting over there, I'll go the whole way back to Finlay. Like, whenever Finlay went, it's like, here, wait a minute, he's from Armagh, he's from across the water from me. Like, if he can do it, like, I must be able to. But what is the route I take? Where do I go? So it's like, now it's that sort of achievable. If you've gone to a great training school, created yourself a great brand, and become something that they want, then you've got that step to prove yourself, and then you've got that moving on. People think it's the death of British wrestling. No, I only see it as something good.
Yeah,
because
so
it's more eyes on the UK scene rather than people watching indie promotions. Like indie promotions are the bedrock for any wrestler, because unless you're picked up from like Ivy League football or like modeling or something like that, or bodybuilding in the States, to then get your training at the performance center, then you're gonna cut your teeth on the indies. So why not cut your teeth in indies where there's great schools like GBWA and Claw and other promotions where you can actually get seen before you make it to NXT UK.
definitely.
So to me, I think it's nothing but a good thing.
Yeah, that's why I'm of the belief that it can only be a positive. It's shining a light on the UK scene, and that can only be a good thing in my eyes.
Definitely, because you think about it, a lot of people, they would train with NWA and then they would move to the States to train more over there. Whereas like the story, like Drew's story, like he would go down to England and train and then come back up and train the boys up here from what he just learned training down in England, because there wasn't enough training schools up here with people who knew what they were doing and things like that. And it was thanks to people like Drew and like the bedrock of Scottish wrestling. Like you've got your BT Guns, like I'm going to say it, BT Guns, your Wolfgangs, your Lionhearts, your Jesters, like that did all that to build something for all you guys, like all the next generation. Like they're the ones wrestling in halls with like 3-4 people. They're the ones doing the camps every year. They're the ones busting their balls. I'm not saying that people don't do it now, because it still is a hard graft. Like to me, you need to go through it. You need to, dare I say, be young boyed sometimes, because like we've all done it. There's a ladder to climb, and why go from here to the here without doing all this in the middle? Because you're going to go up with nothing, with an empty carcass, if you know what I mean. You're not going to have a good bedrock to where you're going to get to. Definitely. So like start with a great training school, and like the sky's the limit.
See the names you just quoted there, Jester, Wolfgang, etc. I'm sure you know the story about the post office with Jake the Snake.
Oh, yeah.
He points to Drew McIntyre and he's like, "You will make it, only you." And you think, now we know the story and we know the guys that were in that room, and pretty much there's a fair chunk of them doing really, really well, isn't there?
Yeah. People like, I'll say it till the death, like, and it might just be because I'm biased. It might be because I'm biased. But the best all-round performers you're gonna find is in your ICWs, in your progresses, and things like that. And it was people like BT Gunn, Stevie Xavier, Kaylee Ray, Lionheart, Jester, that people will always keep talking about, because they're the ones that left an indelible mark on this scene that we call the Scottish wrestling scene.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that helped build it.
Definitely.
So like I might be biased because I train with them or I'm with one of them and that sort of thing, but it's that way where it's like BT's done wonders for me. Like he has helped me like with psychology, he's helped me with training, he's helped me with movesets. Like he's not afraid to give critique.
Oh no.
Like he's not afraid to give critique, because he believes that if like there's so many training schools out there where you're just walking 10-pound notes. He cares. Like he cares, and the only way that you can get better is to take the good with the bad. Like you're gonna have to just bite the bullet and go, well, I'm good, but I'm not that good. I can always be better. You know? And that's the only reason why all these guys have gotten the notoriety that they have, because they're always striving to be better. There's not a day that goes by that they're not in the gym, or they're not doing some form of wrestling training, or working on their promos, or watching old matches. It's literally like you have to eat, sleep, and breathe this industry if you want to make it.
Definitely. And I would like to just, for the record, thank everybody that you just quoted there, because if it wasn't for the previous generation training on wrestling mats and stuff like that, I wouldn't be able to train in a wrestling ring. So it's thanks to them building the scene and making it as great as they have. And I think it's just going to continue to get bigger. Especially we're going to see a whole new wave of talent, especially with FPWA as well.
Exactly. I mean, you've got Andy Wilde training them up there. We all know how freaking great Andy Wilde is. He is unreal. Like there's all different like facets of wrestling, and he's pure catch wrestling.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
and I love it.
I love it.
I love that sort of wrestling. Like, I'm not amazing at it, but I can do it. But I would love to be at that level that I could just literally wrestle rings around you.
Yeah.
The dad bod god gave guys like me hope. That's what I'm saying.
Dad bod god. Yeah.
Andy Wilde is scheduled, by the way. He is the next interview.
Well, tell him that I think he's amazing, and that if we ever get the chance to have an intergender match, hi, I'm up for it.
We certainly will pass that along. He seems, I've been emailing back and forward. He seems like a lovely guy.
He is. He's a lovely, lovely guy. He's got so much time for everybody.
Brilliant. We'll get him in. You mentioned Mikey Whiplash, and every time I hear the name Mikey Whiplash, and whether it be right or wrong, so feel free to correct me, I think Irish Whip Wrestling. You being obviously that neck of the woods, did you have much to do with Irish Whip Wrestling?
No, I was way after that. I was very much more NLW, Mega, Fight Factory Pro Wrestling, like the more east side of Ireland rather than the west coast. I never worked with Irish Whip. Like, I knew of Irish Whip, but I never. It was very much at the time, and it was weird. Like, from the stories that I heard, it was very much like a territory thing.
Oh, yeah.
So it was that sort of thing. But now they're all just like, yeah, we're all friends.
We all love them and all.
Yeah. So it's that way where it's like the first training school that I trained out with Machines one was FFPW, Fight Factory Pro Wrestling, which is now ran by Katie Harvey and Phil Boyd. Previously it was ran by Paul Tracy and Fergal Devitt. And then I've trained all over the place. Like, that's what I'll say to people as well. Like, don't worry about training at multiple schools. Don't worry about going to seminars at another school. Go as many places as you can. Fuck's sake, I took myself. Do you mind me go? I took myself to Japan the first time. Like, I took myself out there just to learn. Like, I wasn't expecting to get bookings over there. I wasn't expecting to get paid over there. I was just going out to learn and to live a different life for a few months. Like, literally just go. Just do it.
That's what you
This would be around about 2013 for Ice Ribbon Wrestling.
Yeah.
I did do some homework.
Yeah.
Japan, Kasey, tell us all about it.
Yeah. Well, it came about because I was having a chat with Fergal about trying to get over to Japan, because there was stuff happening in my life at that time I just wanted to get away from and just start a new life. Like, and I was like, look, I just want to go. Like, my dad's giving me the money to go. Like, do you know who I can talk to? And he was like, right, okay, here, there you go, Kenny Omega. And Kenny Omega was friends with Shida, who worked at Ice Ribbon. So it was through him and Shida that we worked out a deal to get out there for 3 months. And I would stay at a wee flat round from the dojo, and I would just be there. I would go training, I would do shows, and possibly do other shows for other companies while I was there. And I did. I worked for JWP, I worked for Reina, and who else did I work with? Was it them too? It might have been someone else, I can't remember. My brain's just bleh. And it was thanks to just having a chat with someone, going like, I've got an interest, do you know who I can talk to? And it just went from there, and it was the best decision I ever made, because then it opened the doors for Stardom, and it opened the doors like more for ICW, like, because I'd come over 2012 for Fierce Females, and I spoke to Mark Dallas about ICW and bring the twins in. Obviously, it's the whole idea of twins, money, Basil. But we didn't mind. It was like, it's a foot in the door, innit?
That's it.
And so then it was that way where it's like, right, okay, so I'm sitting in the dojo at Ice Ribbon, and I get a message from who else but Sabu. Going, yeah, this is so weird, because at this point I've never met the man in my life ever, but it's because he had been over for ICW and he was speaking to Leah. And Leah had said to him, like, with twin sisters out in Japan, it's like, well, you wrestle too, right? And she was like, yeah. It's like, so why the fuck aren't you out with her? And she's like, because it's not really my thing. It's like twins make money. Get your ass out of Japan.
Damn right.
So it was that, and it was a combination of a few people going, well, go then. If you've got the money, go. Like, they're more than willing to have you, Irish women, because I'd spoken to a few of the bosses there, and they were like, yeah, definitely. So Leah came out for the last 4 weeks to Irish women, and I remember her debut. I had a match, and I came out for the entrance, and I was like, just one sec. I have a present. Baby English. And so I have a present. And they're like, literally that noise. And I ran outside and got her, and of course we're wearing the same gear. And they came in, it was like, oh, sugoi. And it was just like, oh my god, because at the end of every ice ribbon show that we have, like, everybody would get together at the end and thank everybody for coming and how they felt that their matches went, and like speak to the crowd and stuff. So it was that way. It was like, I have a present, and I went and got her, and she came in, and it was just that from then on, it was like everybody was like, oh, twins.
And
So,
you're identical twins. You're identical twins.
Identical twins. Well, not really anymore. Like,
Yeah.
she's got half, like black and purple and pink hair, and I've got this thing going on.
I've got to ask, mate, have you ever wrestled your sister?
Yes. And this is the funny thing. Before we tagged, that's all we did. And before we made our debut for Pro Wrestling Eve in 2012, whenever we made it to the venue for the show that day, Dan, the promoter, was like, it's really hard to find tag matches of you guys. It's like, because there isn't any. And he's like, wait, what? You have twins, a twin tag team, and you don't use them for tag matches?
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's what happens. So, like, fun fact, like, our very first match in Pro Wrestling Eve versus the Blossoms was our first ever tag match, and it was the first ever twin versus twin tag match.
The Blossom twins.
Yeah.
Twins versus twins. And was did Leah start after you? Because you did like the backyard stuff. Then you did training. She came in a wee bit after you.
Yeah. And again, it was mainly that thing of, like, once people found out that I had a twin sister, they were like, hello.
Yeah.
Like the eyes roll, money signs, like, come on, like, use your brain here. Like, you can get everywhere.
Yeah.
Because you're a unique item. Like, go do it. So we did, and we went to Japan, and we went to Japan twice actually, and we both moved to Glasgow, and just that's history. We did boot camp, like, not very successfully, might I add, but we did it. Again, always say yes, give it a go.
That's it. That's the way to do it. Was having Leah, was there a level of comfort there? Because you weren't doing it all alone. Yeah,
very much so. Like, I don't think I would have probably gotten as far as fast if it wasn't for Lee. Like, Lee, like, she said it so many times. Like, she even said it in boot camp when Al Snow asked, like, what would happen if we only took one of you? And she's like, we'll take her.
All right.
Like, take her, because this is her dream. Like, I'm here to help her get as far as I can get her.
Yeah. That's
and it's, I let you turn around and went, shut the fuck up.
Like, cry for fuck's sake.
Like, shut up. Like, we're in this as a team.
That's it.
Fantastic, though, isn't it? That's when you know your sister's got your back in it.
Oh, but that's the thing. Like, that's what twins are. Like, yes, Lexi, I know.
Having a cameo there.
Like, I'm here to give you a cuddle, because that's how it's sad. But that's the great thing about it, because we always have had each other's backs. Like, I don't know what it's like to be like an only child, if you know what I mean, because I've always had that person there. Yeah. And so when people say, what's it like having a twin? It's like, I can't explain it. Like, it's hard to explain it. It's like, you always have that brother or sister that's there that you can always confide in, but it's not like that brother or sister where you're like, I don't really want to talk to you right now. Like, they're always there for you. Yeah.
Definitely.
We often hear your MMA background mentioned.
I don't, like, this is funny because the basis of my wrestling training with machine, and I don't get why people think I'm MMA trained, but the basis of my training with machine was we did a lot of MMA training, but we didn't actually fight. We used elements of MMA training, so it was that way where it was like we would just wrestle each other. Like it wasn't like catch wrestling. It was literally like he's gonna like machine, like the size of that guy, like Bonesaw of Kings of the North,
big guy,
size of him, like, and I'm trying to work my way around him, like get out of holds and that sort of thing. And that was my warm up for like half an hour.
No, I'd begin
like that sort of way. So it was that sort of heavy cardio, like in-ring conditioning, sort of MMA-esque training. Like I'll never say no to giving it a go. Like I've been saying with everything. If somebody goes, "You want to do an MMA match?" Like, well, give me 8 weeks to train, and maybe. Like, why not? It's like, I know this is a money maker, but it's not a great money maker.
How much has MMA influenced wrestling in the last decade or so?
Well, you've seen like the crossovers, like Brock and everybody. Like, like MMA is becoming a lot more entertainment focused. Like, thanks to people like Conor McGregor and stuff like that. Like the way he cuts a promo.
But my favorite MMA fighter, by the way, ever. Love him.
He's amazing. He's
for that
great.
reason. For that reason.
Just that swagger. Like, who's that guy? Like,
and he backs it up. That's the thing.
Exactly. And even when he doesn't back it up, he puts his hand up and goes, "Good on you." Like he's not afraid to admit, "I was beaten by the better man that day."
That is a class act.
So it is heavily influenced because there is more a level of realism in WWE nowadays. Like rather than doing the 1, 2, it's a shake of the hand, and if you don't respond, that's the match cut.
Yeah, I haven't seen that for a long time now that you say that.
Yeah, and that's why, because if you ever watch the ref now, it's grab their hand, and if they don't squeeze or they shake it and there's no response, that's why they finish it, because that's the same thing they do in MMA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
So it's little things like that, and bringing in girls like Shayna Baszler and stuff like that, who is a scary motherfucker. I would love to get in the ring with her. Like, it's that way where it's like, you may be scary, but I want to wrestle you.
It will better you for getting in the ring with her.
Exactly. And it's like, at the end of the day, Nico, I'm trying to have a conversation. This is what they do all the time. Just non-stop, like, arguing with each other. Hey, come here. Sorry.
Right.
Because if I put them in another room, they would just cry to get back in. Right, come here, you.
My missus has got a staffy, and he just whines the whole time when she's not there.
Yeah. But Lexi doesn't help, because Lexi keeps going to her, going, dare you. She goes there.
Is this the wee dog?
So this is Nico. This is the one who has finally beaten meningitis.
Oh, brilliant.
That's why I mentioned it. We've got the dogs on the camera, so we might as well go there.
Yeah, she beat it. So she had her blood test last Monday, and the proteins that they were looking for, that basically signal meningitis, their healthy proteins are meant to be lower than 10. Whenever she was diagnosed, they were sitting 247.
So,
that is a little bit high. But she got her blood test last week, and they're at 2. So
fantastic. So full recovery then.
Oh, like just
you can see she's a happy thing, just wandering about there.
Yeah. Non-stop. Yes, sexy, isn't she? And this one's 10 in October. Good old BT Doug.
BT Doug.
Well, she has cut a promo before. She has cut a promo.
She has.
It was whenever they were doing the Square Go, and Noam Dar did one with his dog, so Lexi did one back.
There we go.
It's like, who's gonna win? Me, BT Doug. So there you go.
I quite often see Lexi on BT's Instagram page.
Yeah, you see more of her than you do me. I don't mind that, because you see more of them than you do him and mine.
Quite right. Whilst we're on the whole Twitter thing, another thing that brought Kasey Owens and Molly Spartan to my attention was the charity work you guys were doing with you got hard for everybody. You did the calendars, the photos, and I only just noticed, by the way, that Kasey Owens has signed the month of, I want to say, June, and circled, is it the 26th, 27th?
Yes, 26.
I thought, and I never noticed that until I was flicking through. I was trying to show my mates who these guys were, and I'm like, this is cool. Apparently Kasey has decided that we need to know when our birthday is because she's circled it, and then I realised Molly had done the same. And
Yep.
happy birthday for next month, because I'm sure I'll speak to you before it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing though, we have TNT on the 26th of June, and our promo has went up today for it, and it's basically, you bring me cake, it's my birthday, it's the first live show back. If you don't bring me cake, then bring the rest of the roster some cake, because we're about to put on a hell of a show.
And when is it?
TNT, I think it's Hangar 34, on 26th of June, so down in Liverpool.
Yeah.
Liverpool.
Unfortunately, being south of the border, I'll not make it, and it's not because I'm banned for England or anything. It's just because I don't go there, to be honest. But wish you luck with that, and I hope the show goes really well, and hopefully we'll get you back to chat with that another time. But
definitely.
I was quite touched by getting back on it. I was quite touched by the whole food bank thing, raising the money off your own backs. I basically, I think Molly was saying 18 quid for a calendar and like a signed photo.
Yeah.
And I said, I'll give you 25 if I can get Wolfgang to sign it as well.
Yeah.
She sent me a picture of Wolfgang, which is framed in my living room on my.
There you go.
Wrestling wall is beside my picture of me meeting Bret Hart, and my framed Hart glasses.
Nice.
She wrote a nice wee message on the back of the calendar saying it wasn't a problem getting Wolfie to sign it, because all I've got to do is withhold his dinner until he gets done what he's doing.
Pretty much. Yeah. It's like, you're not getting food, Wolfie, until you do this. Okay. That's the thing. Like, it was the brainchild of Molly, because we've been thinking of a few things about like what can we do to give back, because there is a lot of people not in the position that we have, that we are in, that are struggling, especially through all the lockdowns that had happened. Because like, even when I was speaking about earlier, like even my mental health took a wee bit of a like, I wasn't nowhere near as bad as most, but it was still that way where it was like, I'm just getting sick, sore and tired of the same thing here. Like, people just follow the rules and just we'll get out of this quicker. And the only thing that we could think of was doing that and raising as much as we could for families who have lost jobs, can't get a job because of COVID, or or they've been working from home, and they just, whatever situation, anybody that needed help, we just wanted to help.
And it was a beautiful gesture, and I'm sure on behalf of many will thank you for that as well.
Well, we're nice when we're nice out with wrestling. Out with wrestling, we're nice, but when we're in the ring, we're right arseholes. Lovable arseholes.
That's when that personality comes out, the dark side of your personality.
That's when the Kasey that I want to be comes out.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Not the nice one that's speaking to you right now very, very politely. One that just wants to go,
the chaotic one.
Yes. Just about keeping it together here.
We'll get it back to the wrestling, mate. And I've told you this already, I think you're an absolute nutcase, having seen some of the things that you do. And how did you come up? How did you come up with your entrance to the ring?
Well, it's no secret that I'm a huge Harley Quinn fan, and it was actually, I debuted that entrance at Comic-Con shortly after Suicide Squad was released in cinemas, because in Suicide Squad she's on the silk ropes in her cell, and she does that upside down bit, and I was like, nobody's done that in a few years, because from what I recollect, Kevin Thorne and, God's sake, what was her name? Kevin Thorne's valet.
John. You should know that, John.
Kevin Thorne, his valet, when he was in, I want to say it was TNA.
I'm trying not to admit that I don't know who Kevin Thorne is.
I'm thinking of Kevin.
The
ECW. Aye. The ECW Kevin Thorne.
Anyway, she
Okay.
had done that.
I know who
as
you're
her
talking
entrance
about.
as a valet. She had done that as her entrance as a valet 3 years ago, years ago, and I was like, well, it's like, why not? like nothing's original anymore.
No.
So I'll give it I'll nod to that, but it was brought to my memory from Harley Quinn, and at the time I was doing a wee bit of a Harley Quinn psycho gimmick, like every female did at the time. But the real difference is I am nuts. I am a little crazy.
It's not a gimmick for you.
It's not a gimmick. Like, I am that person that'll walk in and look at a balcony and go, wonder what I could do off that.
Yeah, I seen you hanging off a balcony. With
Yeah.
an armbar. That looked crazy.
That was it. I'd done that at Eve and I've done it at TNT. The difference at the one at TNT was it was a glass balcony.
Yeah, oh
Everything
my God.
glass.
Oh my
So
God.
I was like, please, God, do not shatter. Then I went. So it kind of worked.
So you had the doubts, but you were still crazy enough to just say, "I fuck it."
Yeah,
let's go."
I mean, I'll still do it.
We're
Like,
going for it.
I'm literally that person. If someone goes, "Can I do this?" Yeah. Or I've got something new to try. Is it okay? Yeah. Like, I'm never going to say no to somebody unless it's something stupid like sticking needles through my face, like a CCW or something like that. Like, and I kind of draw the line at that. Like, but I still like. I just want to get it out of my system, which is like, I know TNT have a deathmatch tournament coming up. A women's deathmatch tournament.
A women's
So
deathmatch.
That
like,
sounds
I
like
want to
Kasey
be on
Owens.
that. So I want to be on that, full stop. And like, I want to do the light tubes. I want to do my thumbtacks. I've done chairs. I've done tables. I want to do.
Hang on a minute. You want to do thumbtacks?
Yeah, why not?
Whether you than me.
I've literally like I want to do the Edge McFoley through the table on fire spot. Like, I want to do all that crazy stuff just to go, fuck it.
I've done it.
Why not?
Years old and can't move a freaking muscle, but I can say I had a fun life.
And it's on record. Kevin Thorne's Valley was called Ariel.
Ariel, thank you. I knew it was an A, but I was going to say Anastasia, and I was like, that's not right because that's a girl in ICW right now.
That's right.
Incidentally, John forgot Anastasia's name with Molly's interview.
Look, there's a bus. Throw him under it, why don't you?
Well, I threw myself under the bus, so it's fine.
Don't be throwing yourself under a bus, Kasey. That's a wee bit too extreme.
But that, like, watching girls, like when I was watching the deathmatch tournament at TNT last year, and you had Session Moth on it and Charlie Evans on it, I was like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
Like doing like the skewers in the head and all like that. Like, just screw it. Like, why not?
Go for it.
I remember watching, was it Jimmy Havoc and Chris Renfrew Scottish Rules match, ICW years ago, and there was a spot where Renfrew shoved Jimmy into the ring post, but it had the light tubes on it. So Jimmy's off selling, and then he gets the lemon and squeezes the lemon down from his back. And I was like, I want to do that spot. I want to be the person that takes that. Like,
that would be horrible.
It's gonna sting like a motherfucker, but he's sterilized.
There's not going to be much selling needed there, is there?
Oh no. Like, you saw whenever Kaylee and Viper had their Queen of Insanity match, how that the grater shattered.
Oh yeah.
It just went, and she was just standing there with a handle. like it's stuff like that. Like,
let's face it, if you're gonna get that spot with anybody, it's gonna be Kaylee Ray, innit?
It'll either be Kaylee Ray or it'll be like there's another one, Sammy Jane. Like, she's just as nuts as me. We've talked about this in the past. Like,
we need a campaign to get this happening.
Ideas at the wazoo here.
Take the dog trying to make a cameo again. It's like that. Love it. See, when you come in, I was watching some stuff. I watched the three-way you did with Kaylee, let's say Viper and Sean, help me, what's her name again?
Martina, Drugs House Party.
Matilda, which I thought was some of the stuff Billy Kirkwood was coming out with towards Martina, I thought was hilarious, by the way.
Session of Martina's one of the
best. I'm not
best.
going to repeat it, but I thought it was hilarious.
What what broke me in that, and it wasn't even in the match.
No.
It was Wee Man.
That's
And
my
he was
question.
That broke me when he said about that's a cobra in your entrance video.
I thought it was brilliant.
Because I didn't know he was going to say that. I didn't know he was going to say
No.
that. I meant to be this big angry heel, and he says that, and I just go.
And we saw it, by the way.
Everybody saw it. Like it was. There's no like. I broke so many times in the ring. Like it's hard for me to keep a serious face whenever someone just comes off with a one line like that.
Can you?
Like I'm so easy to break.
Even she was dying. Even Viper was dying.
Oh, she was gone. Session Moth was just like, I'm just gonna take a drink.
I think, the question I've got written down here is, when you come in with a wee man, is it hard to stay composed? Because my God, that man is funny as fuck.
Oh, he is funny. And it's that way where it was like his one-liners that he comes up, like he'll go through what he's going to say usually with me beforehand, but then he'll throw something in. I'm like, you bastard. The one with whenever I wrestled Evil and she was doing the half and half gimmick, where it was the clown and that, and then the priestess, and he was like, only James McAvoy can play split here. I was like, and I'm sitting ready to jump her, and I'm like, nope, can't do it right now.
Keep talking, give us a minute.
Like, oh God, it's funny. But he is brilliant.
See if you need a minute, can he just freestyle it?
Oh yeah. Half the time I was always a bit early though, because he told me off one day. It's like I didn't get them a punchline. It was like I'm sorry, wee man, I couldn't wait any longer.
He wants to see a heel creased up in the corner laughing her head off.
Laughing? I know, it's like, I'm enjoying this as well, it's great. Wait a minute, I have to go, shit.
Hang on a minute, you're not meant to be in a match. But no, I came across that last night and I just thought the wee man was hilarious.
Yeah. And like even whenever we were doing the face off after the match, the tag match, and like he was like, I was setting the scene here with all these guys while you were still flipping burgers at McDonald's. And I was like, yeah.
I've done that job, by the way. I worked at McDonald's.
Yeah, I think most people have, and it was that way where it's like, yes, everybody knows I used to work at McDonald's. Like, fine. Back when you were flipping burgers, I was like, don't react.
Don't show that.
At McDonald's as well.
Yeah, I worked at McDonald's for a few months as well.
Yeah.
I think like you say, there's a lot of folk. Most of us have worked at McDonald's at some point.
Yes, yeah. I think everybody just needs to go through that. Some sort of fast food job at some point.
I kid you not, I worked on the grill at McDonald's and I've still got what I call the McDonald's tattoo on the back of my hands.
Oh, the grill burn? Yeah.
Clean the grill with a scraper and touch the top of the clam grill.
Yeah. No, toaster burns always stung a lot worse. It's like when you're trying to get that bun that's stuck and you're like, oh yeah, fuck.
And I've not done it for like must be 20 years, and the scars are still there.
Yeah, I've got one there. And it was like right on the side of it when I was cleaning the grill one day. It's like, oh.
Right, there's another one. Thank you.
And they're like, cheers, thanks for that. But that was one of the ones that actually like got infected and stuff because it was just that deep a burn. And I was like, oh, this is fun.
I'd be greeting and going to the hospital with that in.
Oh, there was times where I would just like shake it off and just continue on. They're like, you all right? It's like, I'll be fine. Yeah, I'm a clumsy person. Like I'm a clumsy person. It happens.
Me too.
I probably shouldn't say that with regards to wrestling, but
I really am. I work
in the ring. I'm great. Out with the ring in general life, clumsy as fuck. Like I stood up and fractured my foot.
Well, that's actually a beating. I can't
stood up. Stood up. Like literally, like I went from sitting on my knees doing my hair in the mirror, and I stood up. That's all happened. Ask Stevie, he was there. Stevie was sitting in the living room. BT was in the bedroom, and I stood up to go get something from the bedroom, and literally the noise it made, and I fell onto the sofa. And Stevie was like, "Why'd you kick the sofa?" I was like, "That wasn't the sofa." So yeah. You can't get more clumsy than that.
No, I can't beat that.
People say the doctor said something happened in the ring. I was like, no, Didn't happen in the ring. I stood up. The real story's better.
And I had to make something up.
Yeah.
Gun whacked me with a sledgehammer or something. We were training. No, I couldn't have left it. We just stood up. I fell down the steps in a BT telephone exchange once, and it's like a big flight of concrete steps up to the door as I was walking out, on my back, straight down, boom. And of course, you're lying at the bottom. You got to jump up, play it cool, even though you know there's nobody there. You're still looking about. Anybody see that?
Like the camera's somewhere.
And then start crying when you realise that nobody saw it, and it's okay to cry. It's fine. But no,
Yeah,
no,
I did that
not.
outside the bars. I was walking outside the bars, and there was ice that I didn't see, and I fully went like up in the air, down, and I got straight up and just continued walking. And people are like, "You all right? It's okay, don't fall. It's fine."
Not a problem. It's what I do, folks. I'm trained.
I fall on my back all the time. It's okay.
You literally are. You literally
Like,
are.
I know how to do this. It's fine. I was sore, but I was just like, "Nope, ego is bruised more than my back. It's fine."
I'm right. So Sean tends to ask the wrestling questions, and I just come in with the hard hitters, the ones that everybody needs to know the answers to.
Yeah.
The question that I asked Molly Spartan: what's your favourite donut?
Donut or biscotti from Krispy Kreme.
Oh no, I can't. I don't understand the whole biscoff thing.
I don't like. Initially, I'd never tried it before. It was I think it was Kaylee that said try it, and I tried it, and I was like I like to be biscotti biscuits with my tea and stuff like that. So I was like, why not? So I tried it. I was like, well, here, what's this? Like, where have you been all my life?
Have you tried the biscoff ice cream yet?
No, I haven't tried that yet, but I want to try the spread for the toast.
I've seen that.
I've got a jar of Nutella in the cupboard that I'm quite. I mean, who uses
Who
Nutella?
doesn't have a jar of Nutella? I have one. Spoonful every now and again. It's great.
Who does anything with Nutella but eat it out of the jar with a spoon?
Exactly.
That's what it's for.
Is that not what it's for?
That is what it's for. The thing I've got here is you've mentioned Shawn Michaels a few times. Have you got his number?
What was that?
You've mentioned Shawn a few times. Have you got his number?
I wish I did, because then I go, Sean, please hire me, but no. Not number, no.
Can you cut a promo on the fly?
I mean, you're talking to Kasey Owens here. You're talking about somebody who's been grafting for 12 years in this scene, working with Molly Spartan, one of the greatest backstage interviewers of all time, and you're wanting me to cut a promo? Are you? You want me to cut a promo right now?
If you think you could.
You don't want to take it there, John. You don't want to take it there.
Because I'll go there.
I only asked you that because I
really got Molly on my shoulder going, I made you do promos. Do it now. And it was Molly that made me do it, because there was one day I was ranting about something and she was like, camera? Bing. It's like, see everything you just said? Say it again. It's like, okay. And then that's how Kasey could cut a promo.
There you go.
Might as well turn that round, Sean. Can you cut a promo on the fly?
I can, but we're not here to talk about me.
John, do me a favour, cut a promo.
Me?
Cut a promo on, let me think, cut a promo on, well, we're talking about it, donuts. Cut a promo on donuts.
Are you speaking to me?
Yes, John.
Well, it depends what kind of donuts you want to cut the promo on. If I go to that fridge and the custard donut is gone, people will roll, heads will roll. That's it. That's me who's never cut a promo or anything in my life, by the way.
There you go. I remember, when I was doing my tryout, it was like, right, okay, you just go in, you just get your medical done, and you'll do promos and things like that. Or sometimes they'll go, right, we'll do your medical today, and then we'll do training the next day, and then halfway through training, we'll pick someone to do a promo. Like, you just don't know when it's going to happen. So it was the first day there, we were doing our medicals, and then we started mentioning promos, and I was like, okay, I've got one stored in the back of my head. It's fine. I've been working on it for like 4 weeks now. It should be okay. And there is nothing like going into that room. And you have Chris Brooker, who used to run Future Shock Wrestling, also a really good friend of Billy Kirkwood's, a really good friend of mine. And then you had William Regal, you had Robbie Brookside, you have Johnny Saints. You've all these names sitting in front of you, and they go, right, cameras behind this, cut a promo. And they don't give you something to cut a promo on. You just have to cut a promo.
Mm-hmm.
And it was literally like, I was the first person to go in, because I was filling out my medical stuff, and I went to go get changed into stuff that I was going to wear from a promo.
Mm.
And Regal came across to me and went, do you want to do your promo? And I was like, okay. Literally, he's like, oh, like, I'm not going to say no to you. You're William Regal, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And that's when this started happening. Like, I was literally like cutting this promo, shaking. Like, it was great, but we asked you to cut the camera. And it was like, but there's no camera there, but you just have to think that there's a camera there. Because I kept my eyes kept darting to each one of them. He was like, cut it to the camera. And I was like, everything else is fine. I just kept looking at them.
Right. I once walked
straight down the line.
I once walked into a car dealership. I used to do sales, and I walked into a car dealership, and I had the suit and tie on. I was up in Elgin, and I was looking for a job. So I walked in, and I says to the guy, is the sales manager in? And he says, aye. Can I help you? I says, aye, you can get as a sales manager. And the guy come in, and he says, can I help you? I think you've been asking for me. I says, aye. He says, what can I do for you? I says, you can give me a quick chance, and I'll outsell any one of these guys. And he's like, all right, come with me. That's what I like to see. So we went up the stairs, and we goes into his office, and he went like that. There's a pen. Sell that to me. You've got 2 minutes. And so literally I had to cut a promo on a pen and tell him how fantastic it was. And I bloody did it as well, by the way. And you know what he did? He went, show me how it writes. And it didn't. And he's like, I always give you guys the pen that doesn't work. And I came up with some excuse about how it wasn't my kit I was using, and it was somebody else's, and I'll give you a discount on it. That was cutting a promo from a very, very early age, before cutting a promo was a thing.
Yeah, but that's what sales is, isn't it? It's promoting.
I mean, you guys are selling yourselves.
Exactly. So we are our own product, so we have to sell it. Like, you have to make people believe that Kasey is this crazy, off the wall, will not take no for an answer. Like, she is now the tip top of the ICW women's roster. And these are all going to believe it, and these are all going to fall in line. You're all going to know your place, because I had to do it, so you're all going to do it.
Well, you brought up the ICW roster, and obviously Kasey has just made a comeback to the ICW roster.
Had we still our arm for a wee bit.
Which I thought was brilliant, by the way. I was actually researching Molly for her interview, and lo and behold, the masked figure comes down. It's the move off the top ropes, throws Molly back in, who does the old fall into the pin. I thought it was classic stuff. It was brilliant. The thing that I love about ICW, NXT UK, all that jazz, me and him use this word so much, it's sort of ingrained in our DNA. It's all going back to the old school way of doing things. And I just think it's fantastic. It's believable, it's doable. You're not coming out and smacking somebody in the head with a sledgehammer. No offense to the guy who did, but then you're coming out and you're whacking him in the face.
Uncle Paul.
Well, yes, I wasn't going to name names, because you never know, you're going to strike it big one of these days and have to explain it. But,
I can't wait for the day that I see him and go to say that and just nothing comes out.
Levesque, I want a word. I know.
Right, Uncle Paul.
Well, actually, didn't expect to get this far, so that's it. Jake the Snake said it best, though. He said, why would you promise something that you can't deliver? Then I can promise you that I'll come out to that ring and I will DDT you into the mat. I will drop an elbow on you and I will take the win and humiliate you, and that'll be that. And it's exactly what he did. And I like Molly's promos to Jake the Snake, because she starts off dead quiet, and then she gets louder and louder and louder, and then she just put it down. I was a big Jake fan, by the way.
Yeah, but that's the thing with Molly. Like, she spent years backstage with all the guys like Lionheart and Jester and Whiplash, BT Gunn. Well, not really BT Gunn until recently. Cutting promos like Stevie and everybody, just recording promos all night. So like she had firsthand experience, firsthand like learning off everybody. Joe Coffey, another one who's great at promos. Like just watching these guys, and she is a student of the game in that way, because she's the one that helped me, someone who spent years letting her sister talk for her, to now talk. And that's what really, really helped me, because if it wasn't for her and her knowledge and her learning that way, then she wouldn't be able to go, right, I know how to get somebody who doesn't really know themselves, doesn't really know who Kasey is at the minute, to talk.
This, by the way, this is what I do. I had a question in my mind that I've not written down. It's in my head, and then I start talking about something else, and I completely forget to ask you the question. So the question I'm getting to, because it has popped back into my mind, thank God.
Yeah.
Is, obviously, we told Molly Spartan that she was the next ICW Women's Champion. We are slowly coming to the conclusion that Kasey Owens is the next ICW Women's Champion. How's that going to fly?
As I say, no, it doesn't matter as long as the Wolves are on top.
That's it. That's what I thought you were going to say.
Oh my God, are you hearing this in the corner? That's what I thought you were going to say.
I thought it's all about the SheWolves, John.
It's all about SheWolves, and we're here. It doesn't matter, like, at the minute, our focus is on the women's division, and it's the reason why it's on the women's division is because, like we said in the promo, there are two sets of boots to fill, and who better else than the SheWolves, the most dominant women's faction in UK wrestling today. Not screw it, not even UK, worldwide wrestling today. Like, we have done so much in the short time that we've been together that we are now the epitome of what women's wrestling should be in the UK, and that's what I aspire to be for the girls that Kaylee was to me. So they need to lace up their boots, pull them up, and pull it out, because that's what needs to happen. They need to come to my level. I've done it. I'm your 3-time women's champion. I've done your cage matches. I've done your main event matches. I've done, like, I'll do anything. So these girls need to know that you're not just skating by here. It's like there is a level to this roster, and it'll stay at that level. By God damn it, it will stay at that level. Like, and that's why I've got Molly with me, because Molly will make sure that'll happen.
By the way, I'll put Fat Man over here for a second. I don't like to do it, but I'll do it.
Putting yourself over, John?
I'll put myself over any chance I get. You know that better than anybody. I am just the package. But that's for another episode, Travellers. You've totally put me off my flow now. Basically, we were discussing the introduction. You wouldn't know it to listen to us, but we do discuss the show and what we're going to do. I just totally came in late for work and was put off my flow today. So we're talking about the introduction, and I said, because Molly corrected me, and she said, one half of the most dominant women's tag team champions in the UK. And he actually corrected me and went, well, hang on a minute. Why has it got to be the women's tag team division? I think they're the best tag team in the tag team division. So I'll put him over. He did correct me on that, and he put you guys over to the max as well. So sure.
Well, that's our point. Like, yes, our focus at the minute in ICW is the women's division, but that's not to say that we're not going to take on the Purge. That's not to say we're not going to take on anybody else. Like, bring it. Like, we're here. Like, I'm not averse to intergender wrestling. If you don't like intergender wrestling, turn it off. It's like,
you know what? A quick question for you on the subject of intergender wrestling, because oddly enough, we spoke about this today as well. I watched the match out of sheer morbid curiosity. I was getting quite into Lionheart last night. I was researching Kasey Owens. I was getting right into Lionheart. And obviously I watched his match with Kaylee Ray. Now, I've seen him body slam her.
Yeah.
I've seen him do it slightly differently. Like, he didn't pick her up. He didn't scoop slam her like I presumed you would have done. Because obviously that involves putting hands in places that probably wouldn't be comfortable with that. Is that a pretty big thing in an intergender match, or you just get stuck in and get on with it and get over it?
Get stuck in, get on with it. Like, at the end of the day, like if I'm going to scoop slam you, I'm getting my hand under there and I'm lifting you. That's what's happening. It's not, I'm like, oh no, I can't go there. I can't do this move because there's something in the way. It's wrestling. Like, if you're going to look at it from like an intergender wrestling point of view as male versus female rather than wrestler versus wrestler,
Mhm.
then you might as well turn it off because you're not going to enjoy it because you're going to be like, real. Like at the end of the day, to me, intergender wrestling works whenever there's a great story and it makes sense.
Mhm.
If I'm in with somebody like Wolfgang, I'm going to have to do the big guy, weak guy match. I'm going to have to do the Rey Mysterio Undertaker match where I'm ducking and diving all his big stuff and then trying to get my speed to take over.
Aye.
That way. If I'm in with somebody like Stevie Xavier, Leighton Buzzard, like anybody like that, like pretty much same size here. Like they may have the strength advantage because they're male, but at the end of the day, I'm going to give as much as I'm going to get.
Nah.
But at the end of the day, if Wolfgang turns around and punches me in the face, and I'm like, realistically, I'm out cold.
Go down.
I'm down. Like that's it, done. Like, but if you can have a match where you're ducking, diving, dodging, and it still makes sense.
And I tell you what, Lionheart did punch her in the face, and she took it well.
Yeah.
And you know,
I
it's
thought it was made of iron. My times I need her in the face. It's ridiculous.
well, you are, what is it? The Master of Knees?
Queen of Knees.
The Queen of Knees, that's the one.
Queen of Knees. Queen of Knees and the Mother of Chaos.
Fantastic. Aye. But I just thought I was just curious to know whether it was approached differently in the locker room, or do you just get to it?
Some people like BT Gunn's not a fan of intergender wrestling, and that's just his thing. He's not a fan of women's wrestling. He's not a fan of intergender wrestling, and that's his thing. Fair enough. Like we don't have arguments about it. Like I'll agree with him on a lot of things that he says. But if you put me in with somebody like I said, Leighton Buzzard, or I think someone who's similar stature to me, then to me it's an equal match.
Yeah.
Like I train just as hard as them. I can probably lift more, if not the same as them. Like it's that way where it shouldn't make a difference. And it was people like Lufisto doing the death matches in CCW way back, opening doors. She was one of the first women to ever win a men's title.
Right.
And I've wrestled her and she's just amazing. Like I can't say enough about it. She's one of these people that I wanted to wrestle for so long, and then I got the chance. Now I wish I got the chance on a bigger stage to do it, but I was very, very appreciative of the chance that I got. It's just gone on from there. It's like Serena Deeb. She's just unreal. Like she's like another one that should go down in history books. It's that way where it's like intergender wrestling is what you make of it. I mean, look at Keith Lee and Mae Young. Like they had some great intergender singles matches.
Yeah.
Like, Kaylee Ray, she was always in it with the boys. Whenever she was tagging with Stevie, when Davey Blaze was like,
aye, they were always
like that way, and that's why I love Kaylee, because again, she's a pioneer for intergender wrestling in the UK. Because she was doing it at Southside. She won the Southside Speed King tournament or whatever it was, whatever the speed title was. Like she's held men's titles. I keep doing this because at the end of the day, they're championships. They're not male or female championships. They're championships. But for some reason, people feel the need like, well, if you can win a men's championship, I should be able to win the female championship. It's like, well, why not then? Wrestle me for it. Wrestle me for it.
I'd expect to lose, by the way. I'd expect to lose.
I'll give you a fighting chance.
Hand behind the back or something.
Do you think you'd last longer than 42 seconds, John?
I'm sure there's a
You'd
point.
hope so.
There's a point coming here.
Well,
no one beating my record. Thank you very much.
That's not gonna. I was gonna say that record's not gonna get beat anytime soon.
Nope. It is not. Honestly, I don't actually know if it was actually 42 seconds, but Billy Kirkwood seemed very, very set on that it was 42 seconds, so that's what it is.
That's what he said. He was like, "That's 42
That's what Billy
seconds."
Kirkwood said. So we're going with it. So that's what's happened.
I have got no idea what anybody's on about. What is the 42 seconds?
Whenever I won the championship in ICW for the first time versus Kaylee Ray at Shug's House Party on night one, I beat her in 42 seconds.
Really?
Yeah. Beat her in 42 seconds, and then she had her rematch the next night. And we went a little bit longer than 42 seconds then.
And you beat her again.
And I beat her again.
That was a good weekend.
That was a great weekend. Because BT won the Grand Slam that night as well.
Ah, that's right. So it was just a night of champions.
Yes, it was a great year that year.
A couple of tangos had that night.
BT gun and some other chaos.
Fantastic.
I just want to quickly ask a wee bit about Molly Spartan, because you've been there from the very beginning. Oh, Molly's pro wrestling journey. I believe you had her first match. What is it like to watch her grow and develop into the beautiful bruiser that we know today?
Just beautiful.
Has it been beautiful?
No, it's great. It's just like to see her progress and like doing all these podcasts and that sort of thing. It's great, but like she does a lot of her own self promotion. She does a lot of her own like getting her own bookings and that sort of thing. Like she's wrestled out in like is it Israel or somewhere like that. Like she's done so much, and she's going out to I think Sweden soon as well. And she knows what she wants to do. She knows where she wants to go, and she's not going to stop until she gets it. And if I can be a part of that journey as well, then pals.
Definitely.
Well, undoubtedly you will be, because she regards you as the one she can't get rid of.
Yeah, I'm like a bad smell. Like I just don't leave her alone.
I was not going to say that.
She then says she doesn't want to get rid of you. So.
No, she has no choice now. She's never getting rid of me.
No,
it's not happening.
Everybody needs a friend like that, though.
Exactly. But like she's the type of friend where like we can have the tough conversations with each other, and then be like 10 minutes later, go Beans, let's go do this. Let's go. Like that's what friendship should be. Like we push each other, and then we're there if anything falls apart.
That's it. And yourself and Molly, you've been made the safeguard officials for TNT. How important is that role for the both of you guys?
Well, it's that way where like it was announced that we were, and then there was a whole big backlash for it being wrestlers, like policing wrestlers. So we're like, look, we've always been there, and we've always done that sort of role at TNT anyway. Yeah. But if you want to get somebody else involved, then by all means, that's fine. I mean, at the end of the day, our job is to entertain people. Our job is wrestling. Yeah. But it's like that way where last show that we had at TNT, it went from whenever I debuted at TNT, where it was Lana Austin versus insert wrestler, and it had been for years. Like there wasn't really like a storyline for her and like that. It was just like women's match, go.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until Molly came in with the idea and the storyline and the like for the SheWolves and stuff like that. Again, she should be like on any creative team in the world anywhere. She's just brilliant at the storylines. That we created with the help of Jay and Jay trusting in us to do it. Yeah. And run with this whole SheWolves storyline and this whole idea of the dominant tag team coming in and just flipping everything on its head. And it was just like to be entrusted with that from a company that we just debuted with, for them to trust us that it's gonna go right. Just let us do it.
Yeah.
It's just unreal. Like
takes a lot.
The Lana Austin heel turn, realistically, if it was up to management, would have happened, I want to say 13 months before.
Oh, really?
They wanted it to happen a lot quicker than what it did.
Yeah.
And we went, no.
God.
No, Lana Austin is your John Cena.
Aye. You dragged that out. You milked that.
And we milked it, and we milked it, and we milked it. And the moment she turned, like again, it's on that promo. People have a look at the TNT Twitter page.
Yeah. That was an unexpected moment. Nobody saw that coming.
No one saw it coming.
No.
Like, and we were literally telling them for months. Like, this isn't just management. This is telling fans. Like, we have plan A to plan Z, and everything in between. So expect anything when it comes to the SheWolves, and that's like a premonition for what we're going to do in ICW. Like, expect anything from us, because it's what we do. We go in and we flip rosters on their head, and we just create a new kind of chaos.
Perfect.
How do you follow that, Tombo?
I want to ask on the subject, ICW, or even just in British wrestling in general, do you think there should be a women's tag team championship? If there was, would you like to? Well, I don't think you would like to. It's an obvious. You and Molly would just win the titles. But is
Well,
that
that's the
something
thing,
you
though,
can see happening?
there is women's tag team champions. Pro
Right.
Wrestling Eve, they have women's
Oh,
tag team champions.
Right.
So
I need to get
word of
myself
Dan
educated
here.
a bit more on Pro Wrestling Eve.
Yeah, Pro Wrestling Eve, like they are pioneers. Like Dan is just amazing with what he does. Like I can't speak any more highly of him than what I do. He is very much on the level of I'll hire girls if I think they're good enough. He won't just hire them for the sake of hiring them.
Yeah.
Like it's not that he's got a brand to protect, but he wants to protect the women.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want girls coming in not quite ready enough and getting hurt, or not quite ready enough getting hurt and then giving up wrestling. He doesn't want that to happen.
Yeah.
He wants them to be able to be comfortable enough to come in, put on matches, and feel at home. And that's what Pro Wrestling Eve is for a lot of us. It's a family. And I know it sounds corny. The progression of my character throughout ICW has kind of started with Eve, because Dan gave me the platform from being a tag team wrestler to do a singles wrestler, to find and cut my teeth as such as a singles competitor, and to create this. Initially it was Queen and E's, now it's Mother of Chaos, thanks to Billy Kirkwood. And that's where I was able, because Pro Eve, the shows previously, sometimes they were running 4 times a month. Like it was always somewhere that you had regular bookings and you could work on a lot of stuff. And I always said to Dan, make me cut promos, because it's something that I need to work on. Make me do it. And he would hand me a microphone and go, right, go cut a promo. I'm like, what?
I
That's
am.
interesting.
He's like, well, you told me to. Like, you told me to make a promo, so go do a promo. I'm like, okay. But I did, and that's what really, really helped. And he's not afraid about putting younger girls in with vets. He's not like, there's this whole thing where it's like a lot of younger girls in shows are put on with like girls of the same level, but they're not going to learn any better. They're not going to learn from each other because they're at the same level. Like you need to be putting them with vets, and that's why like I appreciate it so much, because for years I've been saying like I want to get in with like guys. I want to get in with guys to wrestle, because guys wrestle different from girls. I want to get in with vets because they've got so much to learn from. Like there's not even just in ring psychology wise and things like that. Yeah. And that's why like I appreciated being in with Mercedes Martinez and like your Bolshois and things like that, because it's just a learning experience every single time. And that's why I love like Pro Wrestling Eve. It's a family, and I just love it there. I absolutely love it there. And if you've never seen a Pro Wrestling Eve show, Wrestle Queendom, the very first one, watch it.
I'll give that a watch. I'll hold my hand up and say I've not watched much of. I've seen a few clips here and there, but I've not actually sat down and watched a full show or anything.
Watch it.
I will.
You'll not regret it. Trust me, because there's something special down at Pro Wrestling Eve. Yeah. Like I can't explain it. It's one of the greatest locker rooms, because all the girls are in it together, because we all go out and we all give up 1,000,000% every time. I'm not saying that we don't every time we step in that ring, but because everybody's going at 1,000,000%, it just ups that level every single time. And I remember it was Leon versus Bolshoi at one of the Pro Eve shows. I think it was a She-One weekend, or maybe, I'm not sure. And the entire roster was watching that match. The entire roster, like screw putting our matches together. We were all watching that match. If you can get that match, Leon versus Leon versus Captain Bolshoi, Bolshoi, Pro Wrestling Eve, watch it. It is fucking fantastic.
I'm just getting that noted right now.
Yeah, watch it. And like anybody watching this, please watch that match. Please watch that match.
Listening to you talking about it, and you get quite animated. You're obviously right into it. Makes me
it's
want to go
just like,
watch it right now.
Oh!
I've got to go back to work at midnight, and I'm like, I should be watching wrestling.
Oh, you need to. Like any SheWon, like we all come out battered and bruised at the end of the weekend, but we're all fucking happy.
That's what it's about.
Great weekends. We've all went in. Like I was in with Tony Storm, and it was the first time we had wrestled in like 3 or 4 years. And I was in with her on the first round, and I think we only went maybe 12 minutes, but we were lamping the shite out of each other. I'm loving every second of it. It was just fun. And then I was like, oh yeah, Bolshoi next, and then me and Jeddah went 20-minute time limit. Like this is the type of shit that happens, and it's just like that's why pro wrestling was so good, because he gives you that platform and he goes, right, you're not gonna have a finish to a match. What? You're going to a time limit finish?
Time limit draw.
I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like a time limit draw? And I was like, I haven't done one of these since I was in Stardom. And he was like, well, you're doing it here. I was like, okay, but that's something you don't see very often.
That is old school. That's taking it back to the world of sport kind of days, isn't it?
Fucking love it. And that's a big thing in Japan, like time limit draws, because I think all matches in Japan, unless stated otherwise, have a 15-minute time limit.
Right. I never knew that either.
So, and one of my first matches with Stardom, whenever I was tagging with Leah, was against Io Shirai and Mayu Iwatani, and we went 15 minutes time limit.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
I'm just amazed.
I haven't watched it back, but Leah watched it recently and went, Kelly, you need to watch that back. You watch it back. Like,
I'm just amazed that I'm sitting chatting to somebody who's like, I've been in the ring with Io Shirai, been in the ring with Tony Storm.
Like so casual, like yeah.
No big deal.
Throwing off some vets.
Well, they anyway.
But it's like I don't like that whole name dropping thing, but I can't help what has happened in my career.
That's the resume, and you should be proud of it.
Yeah, and I'm proud of it. I'd like to be given that opportunity. I remember the very first time I wrestled Io Shirai, and it was in, I can't even remember how to say the name right.
She's mental as well.
Oh, she's amazing. Like I remember saying to her, it's like, right, so we've got this match. What do you want to do? And she just went, I do everything. I was like,
me too.
I was like, okay, for main event, but okay. And I felt really bad because again, that was a show that was like 20 people in the crowd in France, and you have Stardom there. I'm like, you've got, like I said, Kairi, Ojo, and then you've got Mayu Iwatani, you've got Io Shirai, you've got all these names, big names in Stardom, and you've got 20 people sitting in a crowd in France, and I'm like,
and they've no idea what they're watching, have they?
Yeah, and they're just enjoying every second. But it's that way where it's like they were so spread out. We might as well have been wrestling in the middle of Hampden Park. Like it was like, what's going on? Where are these
dropping
people?
Names like that, and I'm thinking there should be thousands of people watching this.
There's so many fans who missed out on that.
That's the thing, though. Like you should be able to find it. It's it will be somewhere. It was through RCW, Revolution Championship Wrestling in Barcelona. They had done like a Stardom tour,
Right.
and the next night Leah and I wrestled Mayu and Kairi in a tag match. It was whenever they crowned the first international champion for Stardom, and it was Io Shirai that won it, but it was in the finals, it was Tony Storm and Io Shirai, and again all of us who had already wrestled it, I remember sitting with me, Leah and Kaylee, and we were all sitting watching Tony, and Tony was so nervous, God bless her. And we were literally like, we were acting like fans, like in the crowd going, come on Tony, God. Like,
they say wrestlers are the biggest marks, aren't they?
And we are, and that's the thing, like we do it because we love it. And like if we, like, to me, if a wrestler comes up to you and tries to act all cool, you're like, yeah, no, like I want to be with these guys. like I want to be, I still want to be in the crowd going mental, like losing my shit at the fact that Hardy Boys just walked out the middle of WrestleMania 33. Like, like that, to me, that's just wrestling. Like the thing about the stuff I've done and the things that I've seen and the things that I've been a part of, like I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed at what's happened, but it hasn't come without hard work.
No.
It's
and it literally is. And for companies trusted me to do a good job and that sort of thing. Thank you, ICW. Thank you, TNT. Thank you to every company that's ever hired me for a show. Like, I can't say anything about it, but at the end of the day, you want a badass heel? Kasey's here. You want a badass tag team faction? You got the SheWolves. Like, bring us in.
That's it.
We need it. We need it.
And I think that's what's missing from a lot of women's wrestling is girls that just stand up and go, I'm counted. Like, bring it on. And a lot of girls just kind of go, okay, they'll get a storyline through, like, okay. Like, you need to be more proactive. And that's what Molly and I do. Like, I've had meetings with Scott Reed and Mark Dallas and stuff like that to talk about everything. The same with Jay and everybody at TNT. They come to us and go, what do you think? And I'm like, all right, but how about this? And that's why, like, the whole Lana heel turn at TNT took so much longer than it was, because they wanted the cheesy jump off the apron when she's in a tag match heel turn. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
It's like, no. Literally, as soon as I said it, we went, no. like I mean, no. It's like, because that's not big enough. That's not big enough for your biggest face in your company.
Mhm.
You need something bigger. Like, think about it like that. Think about her, like we said, as your John Cena. Like, I would wrestle Lana any day. Like, that girl, like, she's had so many opportunities, but I still think she's overlooked.
Yeah, she is a staple of British wrestling.
An amazing talent. An amazing talent.
Definitely. You don't get much better than Lana Austin. And she's been doing it for...
Yeah, except me.
Can't believe you did that, mate.
Said they don't become much better. I didn't say that I didn't say completely.
Oh, here comes the back pain.
There's a tiny bit of space here for the SheWolves, and that's all.
Tiny bit of space. Are you granting them, like, just a tiny bit of space?
Just digging there, are you?
Possibly, I am. I'm trying to put you over. I'm trying to put you over. And I'm burying myself here. What's going on?
Just a little bit.
I live to make him squirm, as you can plainly tell.
It's all right.
See the whole Ryan Centre thing, by the way, and you never went to Glasgow to see Kasey wrestle, Sean.
Yes,
that was a setup, by the way. We arranged it purely because I like to see you squirm. That's the only reason we did that.
It's like, well, I will go see you. I will go see you.
It was brilliant, wasn't it?
I've been in Scotland for like 7 years now.
I've seen you. I've seen you now, and you are. I want to say you're a baby face, which was surprising. I was shocked by that. I was like, do I cheer? I don't know.
I don't know what to do. That's the thing, though. Like, I've certainly found my nook now. Like, I'm definitely a better heel than I am a baby face.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because I spent more of my early years as a heel. And it was, when I moved here, everybody was booking me as a face, so I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But definitely much more of a heel.
All right.
And do the heels have more fun?
Yep. And we take all the stupid bumps.
There's that as well. No, but the heels always look as if they're having more fun because they can just do whatever the hell they want, can they? And they get away with it.
Egg on your face.
That's what the SheWolves do. That's what we do. We come in and we take over.
Absolutely, I don't doubt it for a second. Can you give any kind of teaser of what's coming next, Kasey?
Oh no! All you need to know is that we've got a plan A to a plan Z, so you can think of anything that could happen. And
anything in between.
And anything in between. And I've stolen that from
checked.
Molly because that's Molly's go-to. A plan A to a plan Z.
And I've got me in my back pocket. That's what she says to us.
Exactly, and one in the back pocket as well.
That is it.
It's like, we're not going to let you know what's going to happen because that's going to ruin the surprise.
I'm just going to predict carnage.
Chaos.
Yes, I'm going to predict chaos.
Love to see you squirm, John boy.
Oh, it's so good at making people squirm.
I'm too old for that.
See, I'm such a heel.
You're such a heel. You're like Ric Flair. Because like Ric Flair, he isn't a character. That is the man, Ric Flair. He is.
Well, thank you very much. You likened me to Ric Flair. I will take that.
The believability is there. I can see that you're very much a heel in real life.
He liked to meet Ric Flair once. I can't mind what the insult was.
The Ric Flair of the scumbags.
That's the one.
That was.
I say he's the Ultimate Warrior of the promos.
Yeah, you're the biggest Ultimate Warrior fan, so that's not an insult.
Oh, here, no, BT gun, huge Ultimate Warrior fan.
Ultimate Warrior
Huge.
mark right here.
Yes.
2 seconds. Let me see. On our wall here, 1 sec. So we've got a wrestling section. I don't know if you can see it because my phone's the other way around. The wrestling section here.
Oh,
so Warrior. Well, it's Vicky Haskins and Mark Haskins and stuff like that. Ultimate Warrior again. Ultimate Warrior.
Warrior.
Everything.
Oh, is that the Winged Eagle belt as well?
Oh yes.
Lovely.
My favourite belt, by the way.
Same here. It's my favorite.
That is the.
But if I was to buy a belt off WWE Euroshop right now, it would be the Eddie Guerrero commemorative belt. That is a thing of beauty.
Aye, that really is.
Thing of beauty.
He should have got another world title. I think he would have. He probably would have had another world title on Eddie Guerrero.
Definitely, like hands down. And I'm gonna keep saying it because he's my boy.
Aye, it really is.
Yeah, it's one of those people. Like my sister met Vicky Guerrero because Leah was over for WrestleMania 33 and she went to Access and stuff like that, and she met Vicky, and just says she's the most lovely person in the world.
Right.
Oh, really?
Like, she's so down to earth and just would chat to you all day.
I've listened to a couple of podcasts with Vicky. She does sound lovely.
Yeah.
Just not giving it the old excuse me that goes free.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's the gimmick, isn't it? That's the gimmick. That's the gimmick. And then she met Bobby Heenan, but she got a bit emotional about that because he was sitting there just so frail looking and the jaw and all, and like Leah took a lot of her commentating at Eve.
Yeah.
Like a lot of inspiration came from Bobby Heenan.
He's my generation, and he was the man. Him and Gorilla Monsoon.
He was the man, but it's the fact that she turned the corner and just didn't like. She knew what he looked like then, but she just didn't expect to see him look so free as he did. But like she just started crying and stuff like that, and was like, "He's just such an inspiration for me," and blah blah blah. And his wife was just like, even though he can't talk, like just know that he appreciates it. He appreciates everything that you've just said, because even for somebody at your age, getting inspired by someone of his age and his generation, it just means a lot because it transcends throughout the generations. And I was like,
I love to mention SummerSlam 91 on every episode. Try and squeeze it in there. And the team at SummerSlam 91 was, of course, Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain. And I was lucky enough to be able to, when we went to the Bret Hart Inside the Ropes, I was able to, the first time Hart won the Intercontinental title for Mr. Perfect, my favourite match. And I was lucky enough to be able to ask the man himself if he remembered the match. And he spoke very highly of Kurt Hennig. But just, obviously, the commentators make the event.
Oh, yeah.
And there was nobody better and no better event in my mind than SummerSlam 91. Bobby Heenan, Gorilla Monsoon, they were just the business.
Unreal. They're just amazing. Like same with whenever you met Bret Hart. Like I've toured with Bret Hart on the AWR tours, and I remember him coming down for breakfast one morning, but he was like, "I'm just gonna go sit over there." Like everybody was like, "Come on, sit with us," and he just went, "It's all right, over here." And I was like, me being the wrestling mark that I am, and one that gets like full on like fangirly around people, like I went, "No, he's not going to sit in his own." So I got up, left him a coffee, and just sat across from him and went, "What's wrong, Brett? You all right?" He was like, "I'm fine," and we just got chatting. I was like, afterwards, I was like, "Where the hell did that come from?"
Mate, I tried to buy his jacket from him.
I think so many people have. Honestly, I think so many people have.
He wasn't having it. I was
offering him 50 quid for his jacket that he's had for 20 odd years. Okay, can I give you 60 quid for that, Brett, mate?
The offer was a firm 200.
It's priceless though, isn't it? It's priceless.
Sean,
that was the jacket.
Was it Billy Kirkwood that was running about with it on later on that night?
Billy Kirkwood, he possibly was.
And
I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised.
we went down the stairs to pick up the photos, and I'm sure Billy Kirkwood was running about with a jacket on, and I'm chasing him about trying to take it off him.
So the makeup shot.
A few jars had been had at that point, Ken.
Oh,
What a night! I can't wait to do it again. I loved that. Was my only inside the ropes thing because I didn't think they existed up until then.
Yeah,
because he was like, oh, Bret Hart's coming to Glasgow and he's doing an inside the ropes, and it would be brilliant, wouldn't it? And I messaged him straight back and went, well, the good news for you is I'm coming down. We've got VIP tickets, and
I was delighted with that. Like,
I've been to a few of them. I've met Goldberg through it. I've met Taker. Who else have I seen? I've met Jericho, but that was through whenever Fozzy came over.
All right.
And they were with Triple G, so like through Triple G music, I've met Jericho. But it's that way where it's like when I met Taker, it was just like, holy crap. But it was Taker and Foley, and I've met Foley before, and it was like Foley landed on me. You know, whenever he did the run-in at the SECC,
right,
on Drew and Grado.
Aye.
And he did the run-in, and he was pulling Red to crotch him on the ring post.
Aye.
And he disappeared. Yeah, because he fell off the stage onto me. But me being me went, are you okay? And then realised I'm talking to Foley right now. He's fallen off cages. He's fine.
He's more than okay.
He's more than okay. He just like, I didn't expect that, and got back up.
Every name you've mentioned there, I would have lost my mind. I'd have just been like, no, yeah. I can't speak to you. Can't do it.
Well, it was funny because I met Goldberg and it was my birthday, and it was like we went to watch the Inside the Ropes, and then BT was like, right, you're gonna go meet him. I was like, what? It was thanks to Kenny. I was like, thank you, Kenny. It's like, come on backstage, meet Big Bill. I was like, okay. And he's a big fellow. He is a big fellow.
Aye.
But yeah, it's crazy to think the people that I've met and become friends with through the industry, and like I'm still like I chat away to Scotty Too Hottie. Like I haven't spoken to Rhino in a while, but at one point they were speaking like every day.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. And that was thanks to these tours that I did in Ireland with the American Wrestling Rampage tour. And that was the brainchild of Joe Cabray, who now runs OTT.
Right.
And it was thanks to him that I was a part of those tours. And it was like, thanks, Joe. Thanks very much. You bringing me back to OTT at any point?
Tomorrow, perhaps.
And yeah, so it was like to think that I'm like on like first name basis with these people, like I used to watch on TV.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy.
And I remember like having a chat with Lizzie Evo, or Lizzie Styles as she was called, before our title match at TNT. And she's like, oh my God, I've been wanting to wrestle you for so long, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I'm just me. Like, shut the fuck up. And I've realized that she looks to me the way that I used to look at Kaylee.
Yeah.
Way, and I'm like, I'm the one, really. And she's like, shut the fuck up. Like, you're Kasey Owens, like, you know who you are, like you've been everywhere, you've done everything. I was like, not everything yet, not everything, but I will.
It's coming. It's coming.
And she's like, oh my God, it was so good, so good. But it was that way. It was like that was the moment that I realized maybe I'm someone, but I'm still like, no. I'm just Kasey Owens. Living in Glasgow, going to be day job, wrestling at weekends.
I fully expected from both you and Molly. I fully expected to get blanked when I sent the messages out, and
we're nice people. Like, we are nice people. We just go about things differently.
Yeah.
Both of you were absolutely lovely and responded to me about as quick as I could ask anybody. Aye, we're in, no bother.
Yeah.
Like, she just messaged me back. Really? And I was saying to him, I'm like, mate, I think we've got Molly Spartan lined up for an interview. And then I'm like, oh, by the way, Kasey Owens is in. And he's like, really? Like, yes.
Like, there we go.
We were discussing the names earlier on.
Why did that happen? Because you just did it.
You
just sent that message. You just do it.
You'll notice that
I've been preaching it since the day one. Life is not a practice. Just fucking do it.
I said this to Sean. I says, if I'm messaging people, I always do it from my personal account so we don't look bad if we get blanked from the pro wrestling page. I've seen him. The list is coming along. I says we've got Molly Spartan, we've got Kasey Owens, we've got Davy Blaze, we've got Andy Wilde. We're getting through them.
Yeah.
Have I missed anybody?
I've got.
Feel like I've missed somebody.
I've got a promoter, a new promoter and all in Texas. It's called Parlay Pro Wrestling. Kyle Hessler. I'm going to be speaking to him, and going to be honest, it's a new promotion, so there's not a lot that I don't know too much about it, but definitely interested to find out what's happening over in the independents over.
Well, how are they getting through the pandemic? What's their thesis going forward? Are they doing their own version of speaking out safeguarding and things like that? And there's so many things you can talk to anybody about. What it's always the same thing. What got you into wrestling? What made you want to become a promoter? Did you try wrestling beforehand? That sort of thing. And then you could always ask Mark Dallas.
Aye, I've gave Dallas a message, but he's a busy man. He's not seen my message.
He is a busy man.
And I understand that.
Everybody that blanks him.
Only thing is, he is a busy guy because we've got a lot of content that we need to put up for the network and things like that. So it's he's got all that to worry about as well. But why not? Again,
I'll message 20 folk a day and expect an answer from anybody. And
that's the thing though. If you don't go in with those with that expectation, then you're not going to be disappointed. But at the end of the day, and then whenever you get that reply of yeah, sure, no problem, then it's bonus.
Exactly, that is it. I want to thank you, Kasey, because it's been an absolute pleasure. You've been very gracious with your time. You've gave us a good solid couple hours, and it has been an honor.
I could let you talk all day. From somebody who couldn't cut a promo to somebody who'll just talk your ear off.
It is honestly God. It's like speaking to my sister. I could chat to you about wrestling for the rest of the night. So where can we catch you on socials, Kasey?
Oh, you can catch me quite a few places on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. I can't remember any of my handles, but one of them's Kasey Owens 5, the other one's Kasey Owens 11. On Patreon, I put up quite a lot of training videos. There's daily check-ins, how you guys doing? Come and chat with me, that sort of thing. I had a promo up, a 24-hour promo up. If you join on a certain tier, you get a certain length of Zoom call with me. Unfortunately, I must be a really good heel because nobody signed up to it. So, but it happens again. You don't try, you don't know.
That's it.
But yeah, you can find me anywhere. Send me a message.
I'm glad you said, by the way, that you don't remember your Twitter handle, because every time we get to this point in the episode, I get mine wrong.
One that I know one of them's Kasey Owens 5, and I think that's my Twitter handle, and it's Kasey with a capital K and Owens with a capital O. And I think my Instagram is Kasey Owens 11, all lowercase. And then Facebook's just Kasey Owens. So it's always Kasey Owens something. You'll find something. Also on YouTube, but a lot of the videos are private for everybody who's on my Patreon. So anybody that's on my Patreon on a certain tier, you get access to matches. This is probably why you haven't found many matches of mine online, because I've hidden them all.
There you go.
Smart strategy. That is the way to do it.
Yep.
I would love to thank you for your time. You have been more than generous. You have been entertaining as fuck. And like I say, I could chat wrestling to you forever.
Well, I have to say thanks very much for having me and letting me ramble on the way that I do. Hope it's been entertaining, and I hope most of your fan base understands what I'm saying, because I realise I've got a very strange accent and a weird mix of Northern Irish and Scottish now. So that's my problem with promos, that I have to slow it down. Otherwise, people have no idea what I'm saying.
Aye, I get that.
Yeah, but thanks for having me on, guys, and I'm sure everybody will tune into Pro Wrestling Journey every time that you've got a lovely guest on. Andy Wilde next. So tune in to that.
Actually, Davy Blaze is next.
Oh, sorry, Blaze. No, it's Andy Wilde next. I promise we'll finally wrap this up. Tune in to the next one with Davy Blaze on it, not Andy Wilde, even though that I think Andy Wilde would be great. Blaze is going to be even funnier.
It's going to be great.
We will get it done. And to the Mother of Chaos, thank you very much for your time. Well, there it is, travellers, and I'm sure you'll all agree we've learned a fair bit more about the Mother of Chaos. Again, we'd like to thank our friend Kasey Owens for her time. Unfortunately, though, that's us reached the destination for this leg of the journey. Tune in next week, travellers, for as Kasey mentioned, Sean sat down with Davy fucking Blaze, and you don't want to miss it. Till then, folks, stay safe and be kind.